Good evening. My name is Jeremy Rock, and I'm project leader with Wisconsin Department of Transportation. Today, we are discussing the future improvements to Highway 113 from Lodi to the Merrimack Ferry. Based on strong public input received last year, along with the new designation of parts of Highway 113 as US Bike Road 30, DOT has expanded the scope of the improvement projects to include wider paved shoulders from Lodi to the Merrimack Ferry. In expanding the scope, it was necessary to split the work into two different projects. The first is the County Highway V Intersection Safety Project, which remains to be scheduled for 2023. And also there'll be a future project in 2026, which will widen the paved shoulders. This project has had substantial changes following the public input period from last year. And we really appreciate the local, the engagement that has been ongoing with the local community. In this presentation, we hope to share the decisions that went into what will be splitting the project into two separate projects, and also answer some of the questions that members of the community might have. If you have any questions throughout this presentation, feel free to email Emily Kendall, and her email address will be located at the lower right-hand corner of every slide. Another option to ask a question is to ask the question in the comments section of YouTube. And you will be able to do that if you have a YouTube account. After today's presentation, you can share the link that you are currently watching this video on with family, friends, or anyone else that would like to know more information about this project. And this link will also be found on our project website, and the project website link can be found in the description box of the YouTube. The Wisconsin Highway 113 project will start just north of the Highway 60 intersection in Lodi and extend 6.2 miles northwest to Highway 188 intersection at the Merrimack Ferry. This slide shows an overview of the recent activity related to the Highway 113 project. Last year, we had our public involvement meeting in April and our local officials meeting held in May. From these two meetings, we had numerous comments that we received from state and local officials, along with from the general public. Many of the commenters expressed interest in the DOT investigating expanding the paved shoulders along Highway 113, and many of the commenters thought that this could help safety between motorists and bicyclists. In August 2020, the American Association of State Highway and Transportation Officials approved US Bike Road 30 and US Bike Road 230 as Wisconsin's first nationally designated bike routes. US Bike Road 30 is a bike route that crosses from east to west across Wisconsin. As part of a larger bike route network that has been expanding in recent years throughout the US. The map shows the 14,000 miles of established bike routes, with the different colors designating the different bike route numbers. Within Wisconsin, US Bike Road 30 is 269 miles long and extends from Milwaukee to Bluff Siding, Wisconsin. And in red on the screen is US Bike Road 230, and that is the alternate to US Bike Road 30 when the Merrimack Ferry is closed. Along the project limits, US Bike Road 30 utilizes Highway 60, Wisconsin Highway 113, Ryan Road, County Highway V and Ryan Road, then connects back with Highway 113 and then crosses the Merrimack Ferry. After reviewing the public feedback and with the new designation of US Bike Road 30, it was decided to split this project into two separate projects, one being constructed in 2023 and the other being constructed in 2026. Over these next few slides, I'll be discussing the design for the projects being constructed in both 2023 and in 2026. The information being shared on each slide will be in reference to the construction year, and the construction year can be found on the bottom right-hand corner of each slide in the black box. We'll be starting with the project being built in 2023. This project will consist of resurfacing, which is seen in yellow on the screen, and this resurfacing section will stretch from Highway 60 to County Highway J, and will consist of removing 3.5 inches of asphalt and paving back 3.5 inches of asphalt. From County Highway J to Wisconsin Highway 188 will be a thin overlay, and this is seen with the red dashed line on the screen. And the blue section is the reconstruct section at County Highway V, and this section will see the lowering of the roadway by 8 feet to help improve intersection sight distance at the County Highway V intersection. Again, this project will be built in 2023. One of the questions we have been receiving is why this project has to occur in 2023 and can't be pushed back to be with the other project. The main reason for this is because the reconstruction of Highway 113 and the County Highway V intersection uses Highway Safety Improvement Project funds. And these funds are federally designated dollars that require projects to be built in the year that they are programmed. And for this project, the year is 2023. In addition, the DOT has some concerns about the stretch from County Highway J to Wisconsin Highway 188 lasting until that future project comes through in 2026. This stretch of highway is experiencing lots of cracking and rutting and will definitely benefit from a thin overlay from 2023 to 2026. And this slide shows the future plans for the project in 2026. This project will involve resurfacing and widening the paved shoulders. With the shoulders being widened, that will require regrading of the ditches, and thus real estate will be needed for many parts of this project. Due to the amount of time required to coordinate with property owners and to complete the real estate process, it was determined that the shoulder widening cannot be completed as part of the 2023 project. A future public involvement meeting will be held to go over this project in more detail. Currently, the construction for this project is scheduled for 2026, but there is the possibility of it being advanced to 2025. And this gets into the second main question about why can't this project be completed sooner than 2026? And a lot of it has to do with our design process. And with us expanding the scope of the project and widening the paved shoulders, we have a lot more impacts along the stretch of highway. And thus we'll need a more in-depth environmental report to go over this in more detail. Along with that, we'll have to coordinate with the railroads, which are parallel to much of Highway 113. And this railroad coordination can take up to a year and a half. In addition, with the need for real estate, we'll need to develop a plat, and that plat development can take up to a year. And the real estate acquisition cannot be started until that plat has been created. And the real estate acquisition takes about 2 years for a number of parcels that are required for this project. In addition, with widening the paved shoulders, we'll have quite a bit of utility coordination that will need to take place, with the possibility of some utilities needing to be relocated. And this coordination can take up to a year and a half. A lot of these steps can occur concurrently. However, they still take quite a bit of time to be completed. This project in 2026 provides multiple benefits for wider paved shoulders, especially for sections along the rural sections of highway. For one, it provides more space for vehicles transporting boats and other watercraft and I guess really other large loads that they might be hauling. In addition, it provides more space for farmers to haul around their large farm equipment. It increases safety for traffic turning onto side roads or into driveways, as well as motorists and bicyclists using the facility together. It provides additional room for disabled vehicles to recover, or for vehicles that are drifting away from the travel lane to sort of recover and come back to their lane. It provides a safe area for law enforcement to conduct traffic stops, and it helps reduce maintenance costs long term. These remaining slides will focus on the design overview for the project in 2023. The design for this project is split up into two main sections, an urban typical section and a rural typical section. The urban typical section is for Highway 113 within the city of Lodi limits. And this section will consist of removing 3.5 inches of pavement and paving back 3.5 inches of pavement. And the construction limits will be between the curb and gutter. And the curb and gutter will remain in place with this project. The rural typical section are the areas outside the city of Lodi and extend from County Highway J to Wisconsin Highway 188. These are the same areas that will receive wider paved shoulders with the future project. As mentioned earlier, there were concerns about the existing pavement in these sections lasting until a 2026 project. So a thin asphaltic overlay will help reduce the maintenance costs to repair the existing pavements cracking and rutting. There will also be new shoulder aggregate added with this project. Another element of the proposed design is the vertical improvement at the County Highway V intersection. This vertical improvement will extend from Shamrock Road to County Highway V, and that's shown by this blue box. The reconstruct section will be lowering the roadway 8 feet. And to lower the roadway 8 feet, there will be quite a bit of grading that will need to be done, which is shown in red on the screen. Other improvements to the project in 2023 include replacing existing guardrail end terminals to the newer energy-absorbing terminals. In addition, within the city of Lodi, the curb ramps will be improved to meet Americans with Disabilities Act standards. And these curb ramps are located at 1st Street, 2nd Street and Locust Street, Chestnut Street and Fair Street, and at Gay Street. During closures of Highway 113, a signed detour route will follow Highways 188 and Highway 60. And as mentioned, the work on the environmental report has been ongoing, and a signed copy of that is expected by late January to mid-February. The right-of-way plat is anticipated to be done by May of 2021, and real estate acquisition will begin after that. And the real estate acquisition will take place at the curb ramp locations within Lodi and at the reconstruct section near County Highway V. The plans for the project should be finalized by November 2022, and construction is anticipated for summer of 2023. The following Wisconsin DOT staff are overseeing this project: Bill Strobel, who is the project supervisor, Lalitha Balachandran, who is the project manager. As mentioned before, my name is Jeremy Rock, and I'm the project leader, and Emily Kendall, who is the design engineer. And Emily will also be facilitating our question and answer session here at the end. Thank you for taking the time to watch this presentation. We appreciate your participation in the public involvement process. At this time, we'll answer a few questions received during the presentation. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email Emily at the bottom, and we'll try to include them with this question and answer session. Afterwards, if you have any additional comments or questions about this project, please contact us via email, phone, or mail. Our information, again, is on the previous slide. Emily, I guess we can start with the question and answer session. Do we have any questions at this time?
The first question we received is, will the expanded shoulders have designated bike lanes? If not, has WISDOT considered adding bike lanes?
Yeah, so with the widening of the paved shoulders, it'll provide more space for bicyclists. Whether it'll actually be marked as bike lanes or not, that'll be developed with that project in 2026. And that project in 2026 is still really in the early development phase. So those details will come as those plans develop over the next few months and next year. And that information will be provided at the public involvement meeting for that project. Yeah, so I guess what would be the next question?
The next question we received is WISDOT working with the County Highway Department and bicycle enthusiast groups?
Yeah, and our initial coordination letters have gone out to the County Highway Department, and they've also received invites for our local officials meeting. So our coordination has been ongoing with the county. As for local bike enthusiast groups, following our first public involvement meeting, a member of Activate Lodi group, which is a group in Lodi that sort of promotes activity for members of their community in the area. A member from Activate Lodi had reached out to us and was discussing the topic of wider paved shoulders along 113. So we've been in communication with that group.
Another question submitted is, has WISDOT considered flagging operations on Wisconsin Highway 113 instead of detours to allow easier access to businesses like those in Oki?
Yeah, and the detour is to prevent traffic from traveling, I guess, straight through Highway 113. Even though it is detoured, it'll still remain open, obviously, to local traffic, which includes people going to their houses or people going to businesses. The flagging operation, we looked at that in the rural sections, and the concern is that since there are such narrow shoulders out there now, it makes it unsafe for the contractor and the staff of the contractor, sort of being that close proximity to live traffic. So we really wanted to reduce the amount of traffic traveling on 113. Within the city of Lodi itself, we did receive the same question from a number of businesses from the city of Lodi. And with there being wider shoulders within Lodi, we do think we can complete this work with flagging operations, but there will be a short-term closure when the milling and overlay will take place, and that can take up to 1 to 2 weeks. So within the city limits, probably expect a 1 to 2 week closure. But outside of that, it should be flagging operations.
Tim asked this question about the project. Is WISDOT willing to work with owners who have current field access to create new highway connection solutions?
Yeah, and we have a access engineering staff who review all the access along 113, and that'll be a part of our 2026 project. They'll review all the access along 113. And as part of that, if you have any access concerns at this point, please contact us, email us, and we will extend that to our access engineer, who will get into contact with you and come up with the best solution that makes the safest entrance for the property owners in conjunction with the Highway 113 traffic.
Another question is related to any improvements at the railroad crossings.
And so this project has, I guess, 4 railroad crossings in proximity to 113. There's 113's bridge that crosses the railroad, and there's no additional work anticipated to be done to the bridge. We're just upgrading the beam guard at that location with the project in 2023, and then the standard pavement replacement. So the bridge crossing will pretty well stay the same. The other locations are at Oakey Road, County Highway V, and Shamrock Road there, right off of 113. And at those locations, we'll be paving up to the railroad crossing, and that'll be part of our railroad coordination as well. Any actual adjustments to the crossing is the responsibility of the railroad company. So that will sort of be worked out with our coordination with railroads for that project in 2026.
Great. Nathan asks, I have a question about the bridges on 113. Will they be getting an overlay during the project?
And that's also something that we'll be working with our Bureau of Structures, determine that bridge crossing the railroad. Last we spoke, there was no work anticipated there, but the Bureau of Structures will review all the bridge structures out here and determine if any improvements need to be made at the crossings. Again, still part of the early development of our project that we'll be working through for that 2026 project.
Bob shared the following question. Could bike routes be routed over the Wisconsin Highway 60 bridge in Prairie du Sac rather than over the Merrimack Ferry?
And from in discussions I've had about US Bike Route 30, one of the things we've been told is that US Bike Route 30 was routed this way, actually to go across the Merrimack Ferry, because it is such a unique feature in the area, sort of a bit of a tourist attraction, and bicyclists are already utilizing Highway 113, and we can't really control where bicyclists are going. So what we can do is make the stretch roadway as safe as possible for bikers and motorists. So we think widening the paved shoulder should help improve that safety factor for bikes and motorists. Not Highway 60, but I believe US Bike Route 230 crosses Highway 12 south of there. So there is an alternate route to take other than US Bike Route 30, and I believe Highway 12 crosses the Wisconsin River. So there is an alternate route for bikers if they wish to go that way.
Great. The next question is, when is the thin overlay going to happen, and what is the scheduled duration for construction of this project?
So the thin overlay, that will be part of the 2023 project. And again, that thin overlay is from County Highway J to Wisconsin Highway 188. And that's really to get the pavement to that future project. It's in very poor condition now. And again, there's those concerns about the pavement lasting that long. With the duration of the project, we're still working through those details. That's usually our final 2-year push to our final plan details when we develop that real schedule. So for a project of this, for all the work that needs to go into this project, there's quite a bit of earthwork that needs to happen at County Highway V. So it will be a multiple month project, but the exact time frame we're not totally certain on yet, but we'll be working through those details in the coming months.
Tim asks, how are state highway repair/replace projects prioritized?
And they're prioritized by a number of factors. We have a planning unit who looks at the safety of the roadways, how well the pavement's holding up, as well as how much funding is available. So those are the main things that they look at. And really, yeah, I guess if there's any more detail you'd like with that question, I can reach out to planning and get that answer to you. But I'd say really safety, the level, quality of the pavement, and then the funding available are the main 3 criteria they look at.
Mark asked a question about alternate routes during the construction. Could an alternate or additional detour route be used to provide improved access to businesses in Oki from the Merrimack Ferry and Lodi using local or county roadways?
And that's a really good question. We hear that question a lot. With state highway improvement projects, we like to keep traffic on state highways just because they're built for the number of vehicles that cross it, that utilize the roadway, and then the weight of the vehicles as well. If we send the state highway traffic over these county roads and local roads, it tends to damage those roads more quickly. So we try to keep vehicles on state highways. With that being said, the DOT does have a program called In This Together, and when I do the next website update, I can add that link in for business owners to look at. It provides some tips for property owners during construction, sort of what has worked for business owners in the past for keeping their businesses open during construction, as well as there are actually permits that business owners can apply for to actually put up signs, sort of directing people to their businesses. And that's usually applied for closer to construction time, but it is a good thing to look at for business owners to look at now, really just to gear up for construction. So again, it's called In This Together, and I'll put that link on our project website.
Another public inquiry is, will either project install rumble strips along Wisconsin Highway 113?
Rumble strips will not be installed with the project in 2023. Really, with the short duration until next project, we'd be looking at installing it in 2026, if anything. But that is something that our traffic engineer will review. That's what they do with any highway project where we're resurfacing. They'll review the stretch of highway and determine if it would benefit the stretch of highway. So that's something that will be developed with the future plans, and more information will be available for that at the next public involvement meeting for that project.
We received this question from Mr. Sutter. With the new construction, are the current non-conforming driveways going to be updated to meet conforming standards?
And that's, I guess, sort of related to the last driveway question. Our access unit will review all the driveways, and if they don't conform, access engineer will reach out to the property owner and sort of work with them on maybe looking at the best place for their driveway, just see what works best, just to make everything fit within the standards of what we're looking for, so people have proper sight distance when they're leaving their driveway. So that'll be reviewed with this project in 2026.
What will happen to the detour and construction during the weekends and on holidays like the 4th of July and Labor Day?
Weekends, the barricades and detour, all that will stay the same. Typically, we keep traffic the same on weekends, just keep everything consistent for a traveling public. And also, in addition to that, contractors oftentimes work on Saturdays, so they're sometimes out there on the weekends anyways. So we typically keep that the same. With regards to holiday traffic, we usually try to have the contractor take down the detour signage when feasible. In this case, there will be vertical grade change at County Highway V. So really determine on where the project is at that time of when the holiday comes up. So that'll be part of the details. Again, we're working through the schedule for the project. And once we have a better grasp of where the project will be with regards to holidays, I have a better answer for that. So I guess in this case, it depends with holidays.
Great. What options were considered before deciding to widen the shoulders? Was widening the lanes to 12 feet or widening the paved shoulders by 1 foot and widening the aggregate shoulder considered?
Following the first public involvement meeting, with all the comments we received on people looking for wider shoulders or even a separate bike lane, we looked at the feasibility of adding a 3-foot paved shoulder, a 5-foot paved shoulder, and then even a separate bike lane. And those are the main options we had looked at that time. And with regards to the bike lane, it really is infeasible for WSDOT to install bike lane just because WSDOT can't actually legally condemn land or purchase real estate for the purpose of bikes. So that really isn't a possibility with this project. With regards to how wide the shoulders are going to be, that's also part of the plan development of that 2026 project. So that has not yet been established. I guess earlier this summer, we determined that it was feasible to widen the paved shoulders. So there will be wider paved shoulders, but the exact dimensions of it has not been determined yet.
Is WSDOT considering reducing the speed limit on Wisconsin Highway 113 with either project?
I typically no, or we have not looked at reducing the speed. Typically, how the speed is determined is by how wide the curves are and what is safe for drivers. And also, if it is safe for drivers, people tend to drive at the speed they're comfortable driving at. With that being the case, sometimes when the speed limit's lowered, it creates more crashes because people are comfortable driving at higher speeds. So they're driving at higher speeds, and then other people are traveling the speed limit. So sometimes that does create more crashes. So with this project, there has not been any thing that really leads us to believe that lowering the speed limit would help out here. So it is anticipated that the project speed limit will stay at 55.
Great. The last question is, why will you pave Wisconsin Highway 113 from County J to Wisconsin Highway 188 in 2023 and then replace that pavement in 2026?
And that's a really good question. And that first time we're paving it, that thin overlay, is because of the poor condition of the pavement right now and concerns of it lasting any longer to 2026. I guess the reason for doing that thicker pavement resurfacing in 2026 rather than 2023 is because when they're widening the paved shoulders, they'll have their large construction equipment out there to do that work, and it's just very large equipment that tends to beat up the pavement no matter what. So we want to be able to put that thicker resurfacing on there at the same time we widen the shoulders to provide that uniform product that will really just help the pavement structure stay together better long term if we pave that thicker structure at the same time as the widened shoulders.
So we just got one more actually, which is, will there be a roundabout at County Highway V intersection?
There will not be a roundabout. The plan is to just lower the hill at this point, which is approximately 8 feet. And most of the work is going to happen between Shamrock Road and County Highway V. That's where majority of the grading is going to happen. And then the geometry of the roadway is going to stay the same. I believe County Highway V from the east was updated a little bit with that Oakey Road improvement a few summers back. But the geometry from the west will be remaining the same as well. So what is out there now for geometry will be the same. We'll just be widening the shoulders in preparation for that future widening project.
And that was the last of our questions.
That was last. All right. Thank you again, everyone, for your time, and have a good and safe evening. Thank you.